Recording in progress.
Good evening. Time being 7 o'clock, I call the March 13th, 2024 meeting of the Franklin Town Council to order. Please pause for a moment of silence. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Announcements from the chair. A note to residents. All citizens are welcome to attend public meetings in person. To view the live meeting remotely, citizens are encouraged to watch the live stream on the Franklin Town Hall TV YouTube channel or the live broadcast on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 29. Meetings are also archived by Franklin TV on the Franklin Town Hall TV YouTube channel and shown on repeat on Comcast Channel 9 and again Verizon Channel 29. For those who missed the live meeting, to participate in the meeting remotely, citizens are able to join a Zoom webinar using the information provided below. The Zoom webinar ID number is 852-9645-9361. And the Zoom webinar link is on the town's website. Any participants who wish to speak during the webinar must enter their full name and email address when joining the webinar. All participants will be automatically muted upon joining the webinar. In order to speak, participants who have entered full name and email address will need to select the raise hand function to request to be unmuted. All speakers will be required to state their full name and street address before commenting. Upcoming town-sponsored community events. Franklin Cultural Council and Franklin Cultural District Committee invite the public to the celebration of arts and culture, a recognition of grants and funding recipients. Thursday, April 4th, 2024, 7 p.m. at Alumni Memorial Hall at Dean College. Town Council office hours will be held March 21st from 8:30 to 9:30 at the Senior Center. Citizens' comments. Citizens are welcome to express their views for up to 3 minutes on a matter that is not on the agenda. The council will not engage in a dialogue or comment on a matter raised during citizens' comments. The town council will give remarks appropriate consideration and may ask the town administrator to review the matter. Is there anyone in council chambers that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Please come forward. Name and address, please.
Me?
Yes.
Jane Calloway Tripp, and I'm at 607 Maple Street. My subject is about the DPW director who was recently found guilty of violating state's conflict of interest laws not once but twice in 2019 and 2022. This is important because it brings to mind when you hear not once but twice, what else has the town administration missed? As the town of Franklin is also dealing with an override to come, due to our finances, we need to make sure that everyone works in the department, in any department in Franklin, is abiding by the rules. Since I last spoke on this issue with the DPW director. I've received many phone calls and emails to the extent that for sure this whole issue needs to not be talked about at one meeting and then we all move on like nothing happened. But we do our due diligence to thoroughly investigate and verify the job, and even if you have to go back to the day one of hire, because we all know management changes through the years. I will be submitting directly to the administration specifics and requesting under the Freedom of Information Law for more details. But for now, from the info I have gotten, we need to do a look-back review of anything that's not in the norm, such as the Franklin Fencing Company that we use putting a fence up at Brutus's home, or the fertilizer that we order from the DPW he also uses for his personal business. The town orders tools. Are they at the DPW or are they at Brutus's home? Gas allowances for his truck. Are all the miles strictly for jobs on Franklin? Because we all know he holds other jobs. It was also brought up that the possibility of materials on jobs such as piping, trees, etc., aren't actually being left to the town, but possibly being resold for funds. A few more things. A question arises. Why did we hire a second DPW person at $80,000 a year? Was this because Brutus was working under their licenses? Because he does not hold the required ones. I also assume the DPW director is a full-time job, but I would like to know how he's able to hold more than one full-time job since he is the tree warden in multiple towns. I am not stating that it has all been done, but it is what I was told, and I feel given the circumstances, everything should be verified thoroughly. It is important for us to uphold a standard of conduct that reflects positively on our town. It is disappointing to see someone betray the trust and placed in them, disregard the ethical guidelines, which is exactly what was done. And it's up to the administration to see that this is enforced. We have no tolerance for bullying, sexual harassment, theft, and I can go on. Why would we not have no tolerance for violating ethics that we have our employees take classes for? I remind you, this is not only a local law broken, but a state law broken. Do you want Franklin to be seen as a town who employs unethical people to manage it? Because that is the message that you are sending, should you bring him back. The other message is it's not okay for some, but it is okay for one. As council, this moment you have a choice to speak for the people in this town under the oath you have taken and support the laws in place. If you choose not to, you simply are choosing to go against your own rules and laws in place, and the residents of Franklin deserve better. And I will make it my mission to be sure to remind them at election time. Do the right thing, and also I will be following up on those items listed above. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience? I think in the back. He had his hand up first, Paul. Just name and address, please. Sure, either mic is fine.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Matthew McCaffrey. I'm at 16 Dover Circle. And I actually came here in support of Brutus. And I wanted to just say that I've been a resident of the town for 20 years. My first experience with the DPW was I moved here, and it was the winter of 04-05 when we were having a big snowstorm. And I went to bed thinking I was going to be home for work the next day. Woke up at 6 a.m. and the roads were clear. And for the 20 years I've been here, the DPW performs incredibly well. You know, and that's not, you know, I've lived in 12 other towns, and this town's DPW is outstanding. You know, and Brutus has been recognized as one of the top 10 DPW directors in the entire country. And you know, that wasn't just for clearing the streets, right? It's how we manage water. And all the citizens, anyone in this room who's from Franklin, has saved money because of the foresight that we had in managing water. And when the EPA came down and demanded all the communities that abutted the Charles River and the Charles River watershed had to pay massive fees, we were able to take the EPA to court and win because of all the proactive things that Brutus helped initiate in this town. And every taxpayer saved money because of that. And I'm just very proud of the job that he's done for us. I think you know, it's not just one thing. You know, still worrying about, you know, we're replacing the piping in the you know, we've had a infrastructure plan that's been instituted very well, and it's benefiting all the citizens. And I think we owe him a lot. And I agree that what happened was wrong. and he paid a $15,000 fine. He's been suspended, which he did properly from his role, and I commend you for that. But I think he's paid his price, and I think it would be a tremendous loss to this town if he was let go. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Colin? Then I'll go to you, Paul.
I'm glad those two speakers, Colin Cass, 146 Long Road. I'm glad those two speakers came before me because they sort of set the two opposite sides that we have to choose between. My position, which I've been thinking about now for a week or two, is that Franklin needs a compromise. It needs an intelligent, merciful compromise. It needs to recognize that there is a big difference between a serious, punishable offense, which that apparently was, and a hanging offense. Not every offense is a hanging offense. And so somehow you need to find a way to have Brutus acknowledge publicly, I would recommend, what he did and that it's not going to happen again. And of course, we should be sure to see that it does not happen again. But on the other hand, we should show that we're big enough to say, okay, you screwed up, we accept your apology, he's got to be hugely humiliated by all of this. He has to realize that he's disappointed all of his friends. And we should look past that now and say, okay, so come back, do it right, and all will be forgiven. So that's all.
Thank you, Colin. Paul? Name and address, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Schapp, 6 Carpenter Drive here in town. I'm here on another matter. It's on the budget. I did speak to this at the Capital Subcommittee meeting. I just want to go over a few things. One, I grew up in town, as many of you know, and I worked in town for 35 years, as many of you know. So I understand my high school diploma is only as valuable as today's education. And I also understand and keenly aware of the importance of education that relates to property values. But what concerns me is how long this situation has been going on with the budget. Proposition 2.5 was instituted, voted in 1980. It's been in effect since 1982. That was 42 years ago. We're suddenly sitting around here acting like, oh, this suddenly got dropped upon us out of nowhere. We've been dealing with this for 42 years. I would suggest there's a lot of merit to the fact that it's a broken system. It was a broken system when it was enacted. But history repeats itself. And I'll remind you, all of you, because many of you were here. Councilor Jones, one. In 2021, the Town Council held a meeting to discuss the ramifications of the school committee, ratifying a 1% raise at the time for the school teachers, while the other employees of town received no pay raise. I refer to some quotes of the meeting at the time. Chairman Mason acknowledged that all municipal employees are deserving of a cost of living adjustment, but the current economic conditions made raises impossible. Chairman Mason said the council's objection to the pay increase is based on fiscal prudence. Councilor Whalen added that the increase was not only imprudent but unnecessary, as other municipal employees have done without a pay increase. Chairman Mason observed that Franklin relies on Chapter 70 funding more than any other city or town in the Commonwealth, which places the town in a precarious position. Do any of these comments sound familiar at all? This was 13 years ago. And now we're stunned? 13 years we've been talking about this. Has anything been done at all? And the answer is no. It hasn't. We've sat around here, fat, dumb, and happy, as the skies rained upon us with COVID money, and did nothing. These people advised you on numerous occasions. I'll go into this. Fast forward. In 2019, the executive summary of the town administrator, Jeff Nutting, stated the FY19 proposed budget was balanced using approximately $1.5 million from the stabilization fund. While this will work for 1 year, the FY20 budget will require policy decisions on how to handle the budget shortfall. In FY20, it should be noted that this was at the formal level. It was presented in 2018 for the budget for 2019. So it was talked about actually in 2017. The budget expenditure highlights Jamie Helen. May I continue?
Finish your thought.
An increase of $2.4 million over FY22, which represents 100%. of the budget. Council Pellegrini, in this year's budget, stated that these are very hard times. We only have X amount of dollars. We want to be able to give everyone something that's going to be able to help them. She stated that she remembers last year when they decided the salary increase of 2.5%, and then all of a sudden it was 4%. Do these arguments sound familiar? Fast forward from 2011, we're doing the same thing. Here's a thought. You need $1 million? Fire these two people right here. They've been talking about this for over 10 years. And I would advise the council to fire the superintendent and the assistant superintendent. That's a savings of $1 million. If we're not going to listen to these people, why are we having them advise us on things? I'll let it go for that time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Paul. Is there anyone else in council chambers that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Please come forward. Name and address, please.
Good evening.
Hi, Steve will help.
I'm a little short. My name is Leslie McCaffrey. I live at 16 Dover Circle, and I'm just here to lend my support to reinstate Brutus Cantareggi in his position as the DPW director. I first met him in 2008 when I was president of the Friends of the Franklin Library, and he was instrumental in helping us move the library book sale from the public library to the DPW garage. And with his leadership, he was so kind, and his crew helped us have 3 years of a successful book sale, where in turn we gifted the library close to $60,000. And I'm just here to lend my support and hope you consider everyone who's speaking today about Brutus and all the good he's done to the community. And I've been living here for 20 years, and everywhere you turn has Brutus's stamp on it, from the soccer fields to the cross-country fields to the common, from building the Veterans Memorial Park, where my husband has a brick for his service, and the Sculpture Park, and a host of other things. And the one thing is, we should be really proud of what his crew has done to this community and all the good that has come of it. And I wouldn't be standing here if I thought he was going to do it again. I don't think he's going to do it again. I think we should move forward, reinstate him, and see what other things he has on his agenda to improve Franklin for all. And thank you very much, and thank you everyone here for all you do. It doesn't go unnoticed, and our family appreciates your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in council chambers? Was that a half a hand, or was that the whole hand?
Half a hand. No, my name is Max Marangelo. I live in 127 Central Park Terrace, and I do want to give, I just want to acknowledge that as a member of the public, I don't have all the information. None of us have all the information required to make the decision here tonight that you were likely to make tonight. And I just want to acknowledge that as a member of the public, and encourage all the members of the public to really just make sure that, you know, acknowledge that we all don't have all the facts that you have before you, and that as a member of the public, I entrust that you to make the best decision in favor of what's in the best interest of our community. I entrust also, as Town Administrator Helen has said, that all this information will be made public to us, so that we know exactly what happens when the time comes. But I feel like while decisions are being made, and I understand the urgency to sort of put our 2 cents in, I just want to acknowledge that we shouldn't be jumping to conclusions, and because we don't all have all the facts. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Max. Is there anyone else in council chambers that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Is there anyone out there in Zoom land that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Not seeing anyone.
I just picture like this land of Zoom where people
I created it.
goes out in Zoom land.
Created it 3 years ago. Yeah, exactly. We miss Nancy. She's not here tonight. Okay, moving on. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from February 25th, 2024.
28th. February 28th.
28th, sorry.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Discussion, additions, deletions. Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have no proclamations and recognitions, no appointments, no public hearings, no license transactions, no presentations or discussions, but we do have legislation for action. And the first item is zoning bylaw amendment 24-905, zoning map changes from single-family residential 3 to business, an area on or near King Street. Clerk will read the bylaw amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is zoning bylaw amendment 24-905. The zoning map changes from single-family residential 3 to business and area on or near King Street. The zoning bylaw amendment to the code of the town of Franklin at chapter 185, section 5, zoning map. Be it enacted by the Franklin Town Council that the code of the town of Franklin is hereby now amended by making the following amendments to subsections 185-5, zoning map, that the zoning map of the town of Franklin be amended by changing from single-family residential 3 to business, an area containing 1.32 plus or minus acres, compromising the following parcels of land as shown on the town of Franklin's assessor's map. Parcel numbers 313-061 000 and 313-062 000. The area to be rezoned is shown on the attached map. Proposed zoning map changes in the area on or near King Street. The foregoing zoning bylaw amendment shall take effect in accordance with the Franklin Home Rule Charter and Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40, Section A. This is a referral to the Planning Board.
Move bylaw amendment 24-905 to the planning board.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. Jamie?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I don't think this one needs any more introduction, but just for the folks that are watching from home, this is just a referral to the planning board. In talking to the town planner today, it appears that the public hearings of the planning board will likely be in April, and then the council public hearings on this will be likely in June. And so this is just referral to the planning board to start the process over again. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Questions or comments from the council? We beat this up pretty good. Any questions in the audience? I don't see any. Okay, the vote will come on the motion to refer bylaw amendment 24-905 to the planning board. A majority votes required. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Resolution 24-14, direction for issuance of request for expressions of interest for purchase or lease and redevelopment of the former Davis Thayer Elementary School at 137 West Central Street. Clerk will read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Resolution 24-14. This is for direction for issuance of request for expressions of interest for purchase, lease, and redevelopment of former Davis Thayer Elementary School located at 137 West Central Street in Franklin, Massachusetts. Whereas the town of Franklin, here known as the town, owns property consisting of one parcel totaling approximately 151,588 square feet. that's 3.45 plus or minus acres, and containing one 4-level building, which is 3 above-ground stories and a basement, with a building footprint of 14,006 square feet, known as the former Davis Thayer Elementary School, located at 137 West Central Street, shown on the Franklin Assessor's Map at 278 is parcel 213, title reference to the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds, Book 1603, pages 3 and 32 and 33, wherein after the property, and known as the Franklin Assessor's Parcel Identification Number 278-213-000-000, and whereas property was purchased in 1924 by the town of Franklin from 2 separate property owners, Josie A. Whiting and Adalbert D. and Annie Ray Thayer, and whereas the property opened as Franklin High School in 1924, and in 1962, when a new high school was constructed at Oak Street, the property was renamed as the Davis Thayer Elementary School, providing education to children in grades kindergarten through grade 5. And whereas the property maintained operations as an elementary school until the Franklin School Committee voted to close the school effectively July 1st, 2021, due to a decline in enrollment, the building's age and the high cost of keeping it up, and whereas the property has remained tempered and maintained and used for storage since it was taken out of service, but the town has no current or anticipated use for property except for continued operation as a storage space. The Franklin Town Council desires that the building and the land be put to a productive reuse or use, whereas the Franklin Council is willing to consider disposing of the property and seeks input as a potential reuse or a redevelopment of building and land, and now therefore be it resolved that the town of Franklin, acting by and through its town council, 1, directs the town administrator to cause a request for expressions of interest to be prepared and issued for property with responses due no later than Friday, May 31st, 2024, and 2, directs the Davis Thayer Building Reuse Advisory Committee to review and evaluate all responses and provide the town council with a written report of its evaluation. This resolution shall become effective according to the provisions of the town of Franklin Home Rule Charter.
Move resolution 24-14.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion, Jamie?
So through you, Mr. Chairman, this is a huge resolution for the town of Franklin. I know there's a lot of other stories that want to swirl out there in the ether, but this is a pretty big deal. I wish this one got a little more attention out there than it does, because this has been a lot of work, as Councilor Pellegrini and others I'm sure will speak to from the advisory committee, to get to this point. Just for clarity, really quickly, this is an expression of interest. This is non-binding. The bids or ideas that come in, we have no legal requirement to adhere to any of them. What this is a guidance procedure to try to get some sense for at least the reuse committee and the council, some market analysis of what kind of feasibility and ideas are out there. I think the committee did a great job in recognizing that, hey, we can all sit in a room on a committee and come up with ideas and talk about prospective things, but it's a different thing to actually, go out there and say, well, we know this is feasible. How much is it going to cost? What if you're a developer? What if you're another stakeholder in town, a nonprofit? All of those items are just simply pie in the sky until you actually get someone to bid on something. And I think what the committee wants to do here is get the ideas from the community or outside the community of who's interested in the parcel. The expression of interest leaves open any idea. It could mean saving the building. It could also mean demolishing the building. We leave it wide open for a reason, because if you leave it not wide open with ideas, then you're going to get a restrictive sense of what may be out there. Some key dates, Mr. Chairman, for you and the council and anyone out there that's listening that may be interested in the 3.5 acre parcel formerly known as Davis Thayer School. There's an information session and site tour, 2 of them as a matter of fact, on April 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then also May 1st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The committee did host 2 open houses. They were really fun. The memories were great. And I think a lot of people really enjoyed coming in to see the old building, the memories, take some pictures. these information sessions, people can still come by and do that. Like, nobody's gonna get turned away. But these sessions are really more geared to working with the facilities director, and the staff about the technical questions. The town has done 2 studies on this issue already about the current conditions. It's all in the RFP, the expression of interest. And then also the expression of interest deadline is May 31st at 1:00 p.m. 1:00 is when we close on a Friday here. And then June, we hope to see those proposals. And then June, Councilor Pellegrini and the rest of the staff, the rest of the committee are going to host, probably a couple debates and a couple more meetings to review those proposals. At that time, the committee then will make at least some narrowing down of what the future uses may or may not be. By the way, those decisions from the committee may not be based on everything that they get if we get proposals from people. But I think this is a technique that we've used in the past with the Red Brick Schoolhouse, the Old South Church. We didn't have a lot of hope for those. And then out of nowhere, we've done these, and then we got Habitat for Humanity and the Robotics Club to take on those projects too. So they were really, it was an advantageous process. So Mike's here. I saw Brian. I think he might have left. Mike's here, and I'm happy to answer any questions folks may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. I think I'll go to Council Pellegrini first, since she chairs the reuse committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad to see that this is out. It's going to take another full 2 months, though, before they come back, and then we review it and that. The school is being looked after now, though, right?
Absolutely.
It is.
Oh,
We're
absolutely.
not going to have any broken boiler up there or anything like that. It's going to just create more of a problem.
No, I hope not. But I
Hope
mean,
to God, right.
we've done what we can to make sure that the heat is at a level to not have frozen pipes.
Okay.
We are not investing any capital money in the facility right now. We're waiting for this process to conclude, but the building's in very good shape, and the current condition reports reflect that.
Shows that. Well, I'm sure I speak for the rest of my committee. We're happy, as I said, that this is on its way, and we look forward to a few people, even more than a few, getting in touch with us. And I think you had said April 14th, it's April 17th.
It's April 17th and May 1st.
Right.
From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. are the information session and site tours dates.
Okay, and then individuals, even though they don't have the special interest in this, can come and just see the school at that time too?
It's pretty hard for me to have somebody walk up to the front and say they want to go see the cafeteria and say no. I think
Yeah.
we're pretty gracious people,
All right,
so I
'cause
think
some-
we can let some folks in.
Some people have said that they missed that and they
Sure.
did want to come in again. But as long as they can hear that right now and say,
Pull your mic down.
okay.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I really don't have anything else to say, except for the fact that I hope people will read this. Businesses, perhaps Dean College, perhaps anyone in the area that could use this. Personally, I'd like to see the school, the facade of it kept the way that it is, and inside, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want there. But the outside, and we did check to see that there's no prohibiting, of us, if it ever came to taking the school down. Where it was donated to us, there's nothing in that deed.
No.
There's nothing in
Yep,
that
the town
deed.
attorney
It
can
wasn't
answer that.
donated, it was purchased.
Pardon?
It was purchased, it was, the only proviso was the school had to bear the name
With the name, okay.
on the school.
Yeah. So we don't have to carry that name with someone else that's coming forward.
Nope.
But perhaps it might be a nice idea
It would be.
to incorporate it in there. Well, that's about it. Let's get those letters in of interest. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Pellegrini. Any other questions or comments? Councilor Frangillo?
Yeah, thank you. Just a question. How do we ensure that this is widely published and that we get as many eyes as we can on it?
It's a great question. I mean, Amy and the staff tomorrow will send out on our blog. We'll do obviously social media posts. We'll get the RFP up, and then you know, we'll see what happens after that. I will say the Old South Church, you know, it's the 100th anniversary of Davis Thayer this year. And the committee kind of made a decision to do this around now on the 100th anniversary year to try to gain some additional media attention. You know, we'll do the best we can to try to see if we can get, you know, some sort of media entity like WGBH did a story on the Old South Church,
Right.
which I think raised the profile
Right.
of that issue quite a bit. You know, even a simple media story like that can go pretty far today. We got a couple and a half months, and 2.5 months is a long time, and it's spelled out in the expression of interest for a reason. But we'll try to get the word out in the Metro West Daily News. Because really what you're trying to look for is to leverage some level of interest and value. Because the more interest there is, the potential more value in the asset you have.
Right.
So to try to get it out there, I don't know how sexy of a story this is for a Boston Globe or some larger media entity. There's a lot of old school buildings, you know. I mean, we're very passionate about this one because it's in Franklin, but there's a lot of school buildings that are vacant out there. I don't know how that goes, but we'll do our best, you know, chance to do it. And Mike's got a lot of contacts in the industry. We'll probably send it out to a lot of different architects and designers just to try to get it out there. And I expect a lot of calls on this. I expect a lot of calls locally. One of the key features in here is, you know, we don't say, like the Old South Church, that you have to keep the building.
Right.
So that should generate some conversation and talking points, hopefully among the development community or others. So, you know, hopefully word will get out there the best of our ability, and you know, we'll try to do the best we can to get the word out. And I'm certainly open to other people's ideas if there's outreach that we can do, either today or,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like we have to send it out tomorrow and that's the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
time we
Yeah,
send it
right.
out. So if other ideas come in the next 2 months, just let myself or Amy know, and we'll reach out and try to get the word out.
Cool. Yeah, that's helpful. I mean, I think that this is bigger. It's of much greater value than the Old South Meeting House, and so it's
Well,
not like,
yeah, totally.
and
Literally and
you
figuratively.
know. So I don't know. Like this one feels more urgent. Like the Old South Meeting. Okay, it was cool that we got as many as we did because we got the GBH story. But I would, you know. I don't know what the databases are that developers and architects go to, but I imagine that these exist, that we're not the only one dropping an RFI on a large parcel like this. And so if we're just making sure that we can find it, I just don't want to feel as though, you know, I don't want it to be just a couple. I want it, you know,
Yeah.
be
The best we can
you know, dozens of people at least giving it a serious look.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. This is great.
Thank you, Councilor Frangillo, and I just want to correct, you said RFP in one of your
I know, I
statements.
keep-
It's RFI, just so that people understand, request for information, not request for proposals. You know, maybe we reach out to local Bob Ward.
Yeah.
Who probably went to school at that school.
It's a great idea. Bob Ward is a fantastic idea. Hopefully Bob's watching right now.
Yeah. Sorry to put
somebody
you on the
knows Bob,
spot
and
if
they're
you are Bob,
sending a
but,
DM to Bob. And
you know, as a 100th anniversary, it might be something that he might be able to help us out.
That's a great idea.
So.
Yeah. I think there's essentially no developer too big to like think about this.
No, it's
Location,
big, yeah.
location,
Yeah.
as everybody says. And Councilor Jones did have to recuse himself from this, so. Councilor DeLorco.
Thank you. I just don't know if the public knows, it's not just, it's the whole property,
Yeah, right.
not just the
Right.
school, right?
Yeah,
It's
3.5
the field and everything like that, just so,
It's a once upon Ray school too.
yeah, it's everything. It's just, I just didn't know if they just thought it was just a school.
it's a great point. It's a great point.
Debbie and I are the only ones that actually went there.
Ray School. and
Ray
Davis
School.
there, yeah.
Both. Any other councilors? Councilor Cormier Ledger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, as a member of the Reuse Committee, I just wanted to thank Jamie and the town attorney and those that put the proposal together, and also to give the public some assurance that we're going through this process and taking our time because it is a valuable asset. I know a lot of people are concerned about the budget and the expense to keeping a building running and heating and insurance and all of that, and we do take that into account, but we would not be doing our job if we rushed it. So to do this proper process and to truly hear from whether it's developers, nonprofits, combination thereof, some people could decide to use the building and then maybe we keep the field, we keep the playground.
Exactly.
There's different ways to look at that property and then for us to think about what's best for the asset and what's best for the town. So I just want the public to please give us a little bit more time and patience as we go through this process. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Cormier-Ledger. Any other councilors? Councilor Hamblin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone that's on the Davis Thayer Reuse Committee and the work you've done so far. And Amy, Jamie, or Mark, whoever put this together. I'm really excited. All of us. Okay, thank you for putting this together. I'm looking forward to hearing the really cool ideas that come in front of the Reuse Committee. And I think it has a huge potential. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Hamblin. Any other councilors? Attorney Sorrell?
Yeah, I just also wanted to add that, when we actually get to the point, if you choose to dispose of the property, there's a strict legal process that has to be followed at that point, and you don't have the flexibility. You have to really lay out, for instance, either go with price, or you go with an RFP and criteria, specified criteria. And so therefore, this is helpful in focusing, if you're not gonna just, well, first of all, to decide if it's strictly highest price, or you wanna do something more creative, in which case it helps to frame those criteria by seeing the kind of responses you get.
Thank you, Mark. Jamie?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, one more quick point I just wanted to know as I was poking through the document. Just for any interested party out there, also, I want to make sure the current zoning is in place on that parcel. But the RFI explicitly makes note to not necessarily take into consideration the local zoning. If there's an idea out there, proponents should not believe that the current zoning is the only zoning that should stay intact. We really want people to dream big about what they think really should be there and be creative. We've heard a lot of rumors, but I just wanted to notice that. We were just talking about zoning, and it just came into me thinking that there's no restriction in this RFI to the local zoning that is there. And I know a lot of people listening right now, we're probably waiting for somebody like myself or Mark to say that. Because we know the zoning there can be a little restrictive. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jamie. From the audience, Max. Name and address, please.
27 Central Park Terrace, Maxwell Marangelo, and that was a full hand.
That was a full hand.
Full hand. So I just wanted to ask a question about sort of the RFI process. I'm probably like the only citizen who's not a developer who knows that combis is a thing. And I just worry that because it's focused on developers, that people who are not developers, how are they supposed to engage with the process? And I just wanted to know, can they engage with the process if you're not a developer? Can they still give their input? Is there a process for that? And can a regular citizen submit an RFI application? Is that going to be advertised to people? Is there going to be guidance on how to do that? Just because, like, I just worry that we're just going to get input from developers, not from everyone else. So
Anybody can put in a proposal. Mark?
And the actual RFI that we prepared and draft, which is attached, I believe, takes anybody through the process, what the minimum requirements are, and they're pretty flexible and undemanding as opposed to what's going to ultimately be required as part of a disposition. So, yeah, you could scratch it out on a piece of paper and submit it as an idea.
A napkin proposal works, Max. Okay. Anyone else in the audience? Anyone out there in Zoom land? Seeing no one, the vote will come on the motion to approve Resolution 24-14. Majority votes required. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And one recused. Motion carries. Glenn, you can come back now.
Really? Couldn't resist.
Okay, moving on. Resolution 24-15, gift acceptance. Franklin Public Library, $4,817.48. Clerk will read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Resolution 24-15, acceptance of gift, Franklin Public Library. Whereas the Franklin Public Library has received a generous donation in the amount of $4,817.48 to be used at the discretion of the department as follows. Donation summary, Franklin Public Library, $4,817.48. The Franklin Library Association, $4,817.48 to be used for the preservation of the library and its historic materials. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Franklin, on behalf of the Franklin Public Library, gratefully accepts this generous donation to be used at the discretion of the Franklin Public Library as described above. This resolution should become effective according to the provisions of the Town of Franklin Home Rule Charter.
Move Resolution 24-15.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion, Jamie?
Thank you very much.
Once again, it's just great to continue to see the support for all of our departments from the community and local businesses. So thank you once again. Any further discussion? Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion to approve Resolution 24-15. A majority of votes required. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Town Administrator's Report, FY25 Budget Update.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chairman, so I just want to commend everybody for the committee, Superintendent Gear, the whole school staff, everybody for a great meeting last week. I'm sure like a lot of you heard a lot of feedback since then, of a lot of positive comments. And I just want to give a shout out to Donna Grady for taking a really great picture of Lucas and I up here. It did warmed me up quite a bit. It was a great photo. The bad side of things is obviously the numbers. If anybody out there is looking to get caught up to speed, you can watch the meeting on Franklin TV, on YouTube, and certainly go check out all the budget documents. Our budget, FY25 budget portal is now open. It's right on the town webpage, right on the front, town budget, FY25. And we have a whole series of documents that are already there. On what we're going through. Just looking forward, I will be releasing the town administrator's budget according to the town charter on April 12th, and hopefully working with people on everything in between. So the second thing I wanted to point out really quick, I just want to give a huge shout out to Congressman Jake Auchincloss. This week he announced that we were the recipients of another $850,000 in federal money towards the Franklin Ridge project. I mean, all kidding aside, we're about halfway there with the funding for that project, which is hard to digest. On the other hand, I complained a lot to our lawmakers. All of you wrote a lot of letters, and I think we have to at least give credit where credit's due to the congressman, Representative Roy, then Senator Spilka, Senator Roush, Secretary Augustus, Governor Healy, everybody. That has been able to put together at least half the financing for now. We hope to have a Franklin Ridge presentation before the council later this summer to kind of get everybody onto the same page with what all this means. But I had to say, Lisa, thank you to the congressman. He's been listening to me every single time I see him, and I'm sure many of you too. So I really appreciate his commitment to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. And just to clarify for everyone looking to find that meeting on the town website or on Franklin TV, it's the joint budget subcommittee meeting, not a council meeting. So it was joint budget subcommittee is what you should be looking for. Okay, subcommittee reports. Capital hasn't met.
No.
Economic EDC, they did.
Thank you,
Councilor
Mr. Chair.
Hamlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, the EDC met tonight before the full council meeting. We discussed updates on the MBTA communities. We're waiting for another report from MAPC. So we had a little update. There's not really much to share. We have like another report to get. We might have to do a little more, but we might be all set. So that's kind of like, it's like, well, I don't know. So we'll wait until Brian thinks he might be able to get that input like next week sometime. So then he'll send us the information. We'll have a chance to all take a look at it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Hamblin. Budget Subcommittee, Jamie just gave that report. Basically, we met last week as a joint budget subcommittee made up of the budget subcommittees of the council, of the finance committee, and of the school committee. And I thought it was a great meeting. It brought a lot of information to light that maybe hasn't been as clear as it was last week in the past. I thought it was really informative, and I would just ask citizens out there, if you have a question, tune in, watch that joint budget subcommittee meeting. You'll get a lot of good information, and that was just the first step. Now we continue through the budget process. I think the school committee will be voting their budget the second, I think, the first week of April. Jamie will be releasing his on the 12th. We will have another joint budget subcommittee. We haven't set the date yet until all of that information comes forward. But stay tuned, and please get involved. Come to the meetings, jump on Zoom, get on the webinar. If you've got, and if you don't want to do that, call one of us. Tell us what your thoughts are, and let us bring it to the committees and to the boards. So, master plan, Councilor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The full master plan committee met last week on the 6th. We are having another meeting coming up on the 20th, but the real big deal, of course, is coming up on March 23rd. That's Saturday, March 23rd, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. over at Dean College. The master plan is having an open house, and the whole public, everybody in the town of Franklin, is more than welcome to attend and come by and visit us and meet all of the different members of the committees, as well as our consultants, Bader and Barrett. We'll be this will be one of our largest public input sessions, where the public will be able to come down and kind of get a review as to what the master plan is, and then ultimately have an opportunity to go around to all the various tables that each subcommittee has and give their input based on everything from land use to zoning to housing to economic development and sustainability. Dean College is kind enough, generously enough, allowing us to use the Alumni Memorial Hall, which is actually the entrance we're going to be using is at 60 School Street. And Dean College is also generous to provide some refreshments for the public for when they come. So hopefully everyone spread the word to their friends and neighbors. That's again March 23rd, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Dean College. Entrance is on 60 School Street. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Jones. Davis Thayer reuse, well, we talked about that. So we're good there. The Police Station Building Committee, we haven't met, but just a quick update. We have received requests for our OPM RFP. We sent out RFPs for OPMs, request for proposal, Owner's Project Manager, the acronyms for those two. We received 6, I believe. The team is reviewing those 6, and will present to the building committee in early April, the ones that qualify, and then we will interview those 3 or 2, whatever it is, and choose one from there. So that's the update on the Police Station Building Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just encourage, especially my fellow councilors, I took a tour of the police station Saturday. You'll get a real good look on how, well, Council Chandler doesn't have to do that, obviously, but, but no, take a tour and see how small and see how compact it is and see how the offices, that they don't have anything down there. It's
They just took you to the cell though, right?
I was there for a little while. But seriously, if anybody wants to take a tour, they should.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor DeLarco. GATRA Advisory Board, Councilor Frangillo.
Yeah, so we have not met as an advisory board, but my update there is I had a really productive one-on-one with the administration 2 weeks ago now, and one of the things to have come out of that was a whole bunch of data that I've been asking for years on ridership and where it's coming from and where they're going and delays and average length of time and average length of wait. And so I'm excited to go through all that and make it public as is helpful, but particularly actually use it to make better informed decisions.
Thank you, Councilor Frangillo. Okay, moving on, future agenda items. Councilor Cormier Ledger.
Nothing at this time.
Councilor Chandler.
Nothing at this time.
Councilor Pellegrini.
Nothing at this time.
Councilor Sheridan.
Yeah, could we get an update on the migrant situation at some point?
Sure. We'll put that on. Town administrator can do that the next council meeting. Councilor Frangillo.
Yeah.
Councilor Hamblin.
Nothing at this time. Thank
Councilor
you.
Jones.
No, sir.
Councilor DeLarco.
Hey, well, I do want an update on the immigrants, especially how it's going in the schools, to see how our school department's hanging out and what's going on in there, please.
Thank you. Okay, councilor comments. Councilor Sheridan.
Just say happy Ramadan and happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
You had to say that.
Councilor Frangillo.
I would just elevate the master plan open house. If there's one public input to go to so far for the master plan, it would be this open house on the 23rd. Stop by anytime. There's going to be a whole bunch of opportunities to provide input.
Thank you, Councilor Frangillo. Councilor Hamblin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank everybody who came out to the library and the library staff for allowing the Master Use Subcommittee committees to meet there and to get public input. It was really great. We had a lot of people, and so thank you. Hopefully more people will show up for the office hours on the 23rd. We'll see you at the master plan meetings, and there's always ways to participate. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hamblin. Councilor Cormier Ledger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually have a lot of thank yous tonight. Thank you to our town clerk, Nancy Danello, and the whole staff and volunteers for a very smooth primary election. That seems like that was a long time ago, but it really wasn't. Thank you to our town administrator and to our school superintendent. Last week's joint budget presentation was fantastic. It was thorough. It was very easy to follow and understand. You could tell a lot of thought had gone into it, and you answered a lot of questions for a lot of people. Congratulations to our Franklin High School boys basketball team, making it into the finals. Congratulations to the Franklin Performing Arts Company for the recent production of Tarzan. If you haven't seen it, it is fantastic. What a creative turn of that wonderful play. Congratulations to our Franklin High School Art Department and the Art Association for their co-exhibit over at Escape into Fiction. It's only going to be up for a few more days, but it really is fantastic. And if you get a chance to just go in and see what the kids are doing, it's really top-level artwork. A lot of those kids are going off to art school. It's worth seeing. My sincere condolences to the Simon family for the loss of their matriarch, Marilyn Simon. She was certainly very involved at one time with the school department and with the Historical Society. I know she'll be missed. And for all of my Italian and Irish friends out there, happy St. Patrick's Day. I know that's a heavily debated holiday. Just kidding. And happy Easter to everybody also, because we won't get together again with Easter being early this year. So Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Cormier Ledger. Councilor Chandler.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I got an email this week. It involves Lincoln Street around Winterberry. Actually, the police are here tonight. Supposedly a couple of deer have been hit in that area. And could we get a deer crossing sign there? That was my request that I got. I mean, because people are doing 50 up that hill, they should know that there's gonna be some deer coming up.
I was gonna say.
That's a school zone.
There's their assignment tomorrow morning, okay.
There you go.
We'll ask the DPW.
Thank you,
That's
Mr.
good.
Mr. Town Administrator. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Chandler. Councilor Pellegrini.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ted was already said a few of the things that I wanted to say. Very organized you are. And I'm glad you mentioned with Marilyn being part of the Historical Commission, because she was chairman at one time, way at the beginning. So she will sorely be missed for the things that she did for the town. To Nancy, town clerk, wanted to thank her. It's a very hectic time, elections, and you know that, I know that. And she just had so much on her shoulders between that, and she got the census out early. She did so much to prepare for this election, and she did a wonderful job, and I hope that the people appreciate what she's done. In speaking with her lately, she told me that we do not get a count towards our population for the migrants. And I can't understand that, because they're using water, they're using sewer, they're doing all of this. And I know that the hotel is paying, for things, but we should be able to get some credit for the number of people that are there towards our census. So if the town administrator would look into that, I would appreciate it.
I'd just say quickly, they're not permanent residents. I think there's a different classification, because there's technically a state of emergency. Point well taken.
Yeah.
But it's not really a ball in our court. And I don't know the longevity of all this, so,
Yeah.
it's
No,
just,
I
I know,
understand that.
I understand everybody's feelings about that stuff, and you bring up a great point. We'll
But
do the
our
best we can.
population, we get credit for many things because of that, and I just didn't know. But I understand what you're saying too.
Yeah.
I just want people to know that our census is not including any of
Yep,
it.
it doesn't. Yep, that's correct.
And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Pellegrini. Councilor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few things to make comment on. The first one is for public record, for everyone out there today. I just want to make the public understand that the reason I recused myself from the Davis Thayer reuse vote and discussion is simply that I'm an abutter. And due to the conflict of interest law, as an abutter, it would be a conflict for me as a counselor to make an opinion on a matter that may have an interest in regards to the community, so I mean in regards to the town. So I had to recuse myself for that, so I just figured I'd bring that up so everyone knew why I walked away from the table. Also, since I can't really comment in regards to the Davis Thayer, I want to make a general comment for the public's knowledge and for the councilors' knowledge, who may or may not be aware of this fact, that any capital item within the town of Franklin that we may sell, so whatever it may be, we sold that corner school over by the Franklin Ford. Any capital sale has to go back into the capital budget. Any capital sales, anything that has to do with capital, we're obliged by state law that anything that gets sold as capital has to go back into capital. It's not money we could put into an operational fund. In other words, it can't fund salaries. So I just wanted to kind of bring up that legalese just so everybody understood, if that were an option for any capital item. I'm not even going to specify anything that. But anyways, I just wanted to bring that up as just a general thing. On a good note, I wanted to mention a huge congratulations to the Franklin High School Performing Arts Group, who came in, unfortunately, third place in the regional competitions in the METG and didn't move on to the final round for the performing arts. But they put on a play this past week several times called A Letter from Algernon, and these students, this cast, and this performance, and the show, You know, who needs to go to Broadway when we have such a tremendous amount of performing arts and talent here just in the town of Franklin? I was so floored by how well they did on Saturday, Mr. Chairman. I know I sent you a text message, but unfortunately, they didn't move on to the finals. But I wanted to congratulate them on the wonderful efforts that they put into that event. Also, happy St. Patrick's Day, and I'll end my councilor comments by saying John 8, he without sin cast no stones. That's it.
Thank you, Councilor Jones. Councilor Delacorte.
Will you please?
He looks right at you.
No, just happy St. Patrick's Day, happy Easter. Really, everybody just about covered everything by the time it got to me, so it took all my comments. But I do have to say happy birthday to my daughter Emily. She's today's her birthday, turned 27 today, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Emily.
I know she's my youngest. Figure that out.
Off the insurance.
Yeah.
Last year she was off the insurance.
What a sentimental guy you are, right?
All set, Councilor Delacorte?
All set.
Okay. I'd like to offer my condolences to the Simon family as well, and just congratulate and thank the town clerk and the town clerk's election team for just another very well-run election in our community. We have a few more coming up, so, and I'm sure she's getting ready for them already, so. And a happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone, and with that, we do have a need for an executive session. Exemption 1, to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, or to discuss the discipline or dismissal of or complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individuals. As well, we're going into executive session for exemption 3, which is collective bargaining, police, fire, public works, facilities, library, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body. I so declare, and we will not return to open session.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session for the purposes of exemption number 1, to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than the professional competence of an individual, or to discuss the discipline or dismissal of, or complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individuals. And also, for exemption number 3, under collective bargaining, police, fire, public works, facilities, and library, to discuss strategies with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public board, and as so the chair declares.
Second.
And not to
Motion and a second.
and not to return to open session.
And not to return to open session. Okay, we have a motion and a second. It's a roll call vote. Clerk will call the roll.
Cormier Ledger.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Chandler.
Yes.
Frangillo.
Yes.
Pellegri.
Yes.
Hamblin.
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Chair. I'm
Vice
sorry,
Chair.
Vice Chair.
Yes.
Chair.
Yes,
9-0, sir.
motion carries. Thank you all. One for